Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Damien House Podcast. Today we have something different going on. I got my good friend Kalon Israel Hardman on the episode today, guys. We got Troy Bedoy here too. He's doing a little project, cooking up. So today we're just gonna be talking about, stuff with Kalon. So Kalon, why don't you just introduce yourself?
Well, yeah,
what you do.
Yeah, I'm Kalon. I'd say
Tell them about the sports you play.
the sports I play. I'd say I'm pretty good. I could do better. I could be better. But
you play soccer too, don't you?
Yeah, I play soccer. I'm a goalie.
How was that for you?
It was good. I had to.
It was good.
I had to leave.
Why'd you have to leave?
Because
why did you have to?
I had a 70 in algebra. No, I had a 70 in English. My grandparents wanted more from me, so.
Why don't you keep your grades up?
Because I got strep and flu. So,
you got strep and flu?
So I had a few missing assignments.
Dude, that sucks, dude.
It was terrible,
Are you going to play football next year?
Definitely.
What about soccer?
Soccer, most definitely. But I was for the strep and flu. I was out for 3 weeks. I was in my bed, just watching TV. I did finish Outer Banks.
The Outer Banks, dude.
Outer Banks is a really good season or show.
I watched a little bit of the Outer Banks, but I didn't really like it. It just got boring for me.
It does get boring around the second season.
All right, well, I'm just gonna get into the first question. I'm gonna ask you, how did you come to know about Jesus? Where did that come into your life? Did you grow up in the church? Because a lot of people grew up in church.
Yeah, I grew up in the church. My grandparents on my mother's side, from when I was in Texas to New York to here, they took me to church as soon as possible, as much as they could. I went almost every Sunday when I was in Texas. Now I go about every other Sunday.
So what is church for you? Do you enjoy church? Is it
I really enjoy church, For about a year, last year, I got to, help the kids.
Help in the church?
Yeah, I was helping the 3s and 4s.
What is that? Oh, the age.
Yeah, I was 18. I was helping 3s and 4s.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
It was a good time because, I got to influence my brother, because last year he was 4. So he was new to church also.
All right, so what, would you say your relationship with God is like? Where does that play a part in your life?
It plays a decent part of my life. Yeah.
A decent part? What is it like for you? How do you see that?
I definitely believe in God, I believe he did great things. He died for our sins.
And what else? Do you have a relationship with him or what?
I'd say I have a relationship with God.
With God?
Yes.
Or John?
I said God.
It sounded like you said John, dude. I have a good relationship with John. I want to know who John is, dude. Now I'm kind of curious.
No, my pastor, his name is John.
Really?
Pastor John and Pastor Lisa.
Wait, we have a pastor. No, we have Pastor Brian and Pastor Steve.
Pastor John and Pastor Lisa.
All right, so what does your relationship with God look like? What does that mean to you? Is it just something you say?
No, I definitely do believe in God. I pray every night. We pray before dinner, and usually we pray before games.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer games. I would pray before games because, I wasn't able to influence the whole team that prayed before.
Or what about Jesus? What's your relationship with Jesus? Because he went down, and he taught a lot of people. He taught amazing things. What does that look like for you?
I don't really know how to answer that question, Damien.
You don't?
No, not really.
You don't know how to what? You don't have a relationship with Jesus, really?
Well, I do. I definitely do.
What do you think that looks like? We have a relationship, don't we? So what does that look like? With you and Jesus, what is that like?
It's definitely hard to say.
Huh?
I'd say for me, it's definitely hard to say.
Well, if you could ask God or Jesus one thing, what would you want to ask them?
Well, that's really hard. That's a really hard question.
I know. I kind of planned this out a little bit. That's what this little thing is. Why did he do what he did?
I'd definitely ask him. I would ask him, if he would help me, influence my mom to get back into church. Because she's part of the reason why I didn't go to church.
Do you think your mom plays an influence on your faith?
A little, yeah. There's times where she makes me unfaithful, but It's never that long.
Like, what does she do that makes you unfaithful and doubt?
Well, she's atheist. She doesn't believe in God at all because she went through a lot of hard stuff in her life.
So if that affects your faith, what kind of troubles do you have with your faith? Like, do you ever feel distant from God?
Yes, not most of the time. There's a few times where I would feel faith or distant from God.
What do you think makes you feel distant from God? Like,
I feel distant because, like, for a while I wouldn't pray. I didn't read my Bible for like an entire week,
mm-hmm.
and it didn't feel right with me. You know, most people don't know this about me, but I read the Bible.
You do?
Yes, I do read the Bible.
What do you like? Read the Bible? How do you read it?
I read the Bible.
Just read wherever.
Yeah, I read the.
Just read it wherever.
I read the Bible. I highlight like the verses that like mean to me the most.
Mm-hmm. So you like kind of study it.
Yes, and
That's good. Because there's a difference between reading the Bible and studying the Bible.
And I definitely, because I have like colors. Like I know most people do.
Yeah.
For me, I have like it's like a pink. My mom, I have purple. Like verses that.
I have a whole highlighting code for my Bible, dude. I have brown, green, red, purple, blue. Blue is for like all the important parts. Purple is for any names. Green's for places or like items and stuff. I don't even know what I do for red. I don't even think I've used red once. I said red. Jesus is brown. Anything to do with Jesus is brown, highlighted. Oh my gosh, dude. Slinging the rock.
They're kicking it pretty hard.
What was the next thing? All right, what does being a Christian mean to you? What does it mean to be a Christian in your eyes?
Well, to me, being a Christian is, having faith in God, believing, being able to influence others to believe in God.
Mm-hmm. So what is so being a Christian is just being close to God to you? That's what it means? So if you say you're a Christian, right? If you were to stop saying you're a Christian today, do you think your life would change at all?
I'd say it definitely would.
How do you think it would change?
It would change throughout my family and me. Like, if I said I wasn't a Christian, I'd probably stop going to church. I would probably still read the Bible, but
But I mean, like, as a person, like how you act, like would that change? Like who you are as a person? Like, do you think?
As a person, it definitely would change. Because before I was a Christian, I definitely swore a lot.
Mm-hmm, dude, I did too. I mean,
I definitely swore a lot.
I would cuss up a storm, dude.
I swore a lot. I did some bad things.
So, do you think that you're following Jesus and being a Christian? Do you think that your life has changed?
My life has definitely changed. I became a better person. I've helped a lot of people.
So what do you think about your life has like changed? Because helping people, you could be not a Christian, you could go help people. Like if I wasn't a Christian, I could go help that kid fix his pillow or whatever. I could help Troy fix his pillow. That's a good thing, right? But what do you think about being a Christian?
The old lady push her car.
Yeah, dude. So what do you think? Like if you were to say you aren't a Christian anymore right now, how much do you think, you say that you wouldn't go to church or anything and all that, but that's just the general thing. But what do you think as a person would change?
As a person?
Like, because me as a person, I feel like I've come to love people more. I feel like I don't swear. I don't talk bad about people. I mean, my whole life has like changed following Jesus. How do you think your life has changed?
I would most definitely change,
What do you think's preventing you from being closer to God?
Preventing me from being closer to God? My mother.
Your mom? What does your mom play? Like, what's her role in your faith?
I know
we talked about that earlier about how your mom's an atheist. But what does that really, how does that affect you?
Because on my mother's side, my grandparents are the ones that take me to church. So, because, I can't drive yet, but.
So it's about going to church.
Yes. And about like being able to connect with God and being able to connect with others who believe in God.
Well, you can connect with God outside of church too. You know that, right?
I know that. I just like to connect like with others.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You're a people person. Yeah, I am too. But think about it like this. All right, think about it like this. Do you have a close relationship with anyone in your family, like really close?
Yes.
Yeah, so who is it that you have really close
cousin.
with? A cousin? All right, now imagine you came home every single day from school, right? And your cousin wanted to talk to you, and you kind of just like, were like, hey, whatever, blah, 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 but you like ignored them, right? Like you completely just ignored what they like. They wanted to know all about your day. They were like dying to know about your day. They wanted to hang out with you and spend time with you, and you just kind of like ignored them, right? That's kind of what like Jesus wants with you, because he was a real person. He lived a perfect life, and he died on the cross. A lot of people don't know this. Every time I say this, a lot of people don't know this. He died because he knew exactly who you were today, the person who isn't like close to God, and the person who messes up, and the person who cusses, unfaithful, any of those things. He knew exactly who you were, and he knew that you weren't going to be close to him, but he died so that you could be close to him. And that's what Jesus wants. He wants to have like a relationship with you. So if you want to have that relationship with Jesus, you can. All it takes is prayer, but shooting a prayer like once a month is not like, imagine you talk to your cousin once a month. You wouldn't have like,
around the whole table.
dude, you wouldn't have like a really close relationship with your cousin if you talk to him once a month, right?
I
But if you
definitely
talk to him
wouldn't.
like every single day, like because there's
I
you
talk
can
to them like
you can
every
pray,
morning.
but if you're just praying just to get something out of it, like if you're praying to God when you need a favor, it's kind of different. It's not really having a relationship. Because imagine you only went to your cousin when you needed $5, right? Y'all wouldn't have a really great relationship, would you?
No.
So what do you think's stopping you from having that relationship with Jesus that he wants to have with you?
It's stopping me?
Yeah. You're vlogging.
Oh. What are you guys talking about?
Talking about Jesus. You enjoying?
I gotta play some volleyball.
Okay, then. All right. So anyways, what do you think's stopping you from having that relationship with Jesus?
Stopping me from having that relationship with Jesus.
Because
I'd
if you know
probably
he
say-
what's stopping you?
Probably say a little bit of a little
Yes.
bit of myself.
A little bit of yourself?
Yeah.
What about yourself? Like what do you think you could do? If you could be closer to Jesus, what would that look like? What would you do
What would I do? Like,
to get closer to Jesus? What would that look like? What would you do? Like, and what's stopping you from doing that?
what's stopping me? I'd say a few of my friends. They're definitely a bad influence on me.
What do they do that influences you not to be closer?
It's like the stuff they do, like the influence they're under, like smoking. I'm trying to like get away from all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to quit swearing. You know that.
Yeah. Well, you know that like you don't have to do it alone, right? You know that Jesus, how he wants to have a relationship with you. Same with your cousin. Imagine your cousin wanted to help you stop smoking. He could really help you, right? That's the same thing with Jesus. He wants that relationship with you, and he could help you. You don't have to do it alone, though. Like before I became a Christian, right? I smoked all the time. I took edibles all the time. I cussed all the time. I slept all the time. I slept around. I didn't sleep around. That sounds crazy. But you know what I mean. I lived this whole life full of sin. And sin, if you don't know what that is, you might think it's just doing bad things. But all right, so God has his way, right? And the devil has his way, right? Sin is what separates you from God. It's what keeps you away from him. So if you want to be closer to God, you got to cut out that sin. But Jesus doesn't call you to do it alone. He wants to help you get through that. He wants to help you connect with him. Imagine this, right? I tell this to everyone who wants to hear it. Imagine there's a fence, right, in a field, okay? And on one side of this fence is the devil, right? And on the other side is God, okay? So the devil on one side, God on the other, right? Now, the devil, you go to the fence, right? And the devil says, I can give you anything you want on this earth. I can help you smoke. I can make you good at your sports. I can make you famous. I can give you money. Anything you want. Anything you want on this world, I can give you, right? That sounds amazing, doesn't it? So you're like, man, that sounds great. But then you go to God. You know what God says? He says that he can help you through your faith. He can help you connect with people on a better level, and he can give you everlasting life. Now that sounds great too, right? You could be in heaven with him and have a relationship with him. But the thing is, both sound amazing, don't they? So you're like, well, how am I going to get the best out of this? So you decide, I want what the devil has for me, all the things in store for me, all the sin that makes my life amazing, or I could go to God. So you decide you want both. So you go and you sit on the fence, right? You sit on the fence. So you live out your life however you like. You're filling it with sin, doing whatever with God. You're filling your whole life with all these things that make you feel good, smoking, cussing, talking bad about people. You're doing all these things. But then you die, right? And you go to heaven and you go to Jesus. And you say, Jesus, I sat on the fence, I wasn't fully with the devil. I followed you. I know I did some bad things in my life, but I followed you. You know what Jesus says? He says, it says this in the Bible, it says, depart from me, for I never knew you. that means that you will be cast out, because following Jesus is about surrender. It's not about, because if I told you that I followed Jesus, right, if I said it with my mouth, right, and I went over there and punched that guy in the face, you'd be like, bro, there's no way he follows Jesus, right? Right, that makes sense. So following Jesus is kind of like knowing that you sin and you're born into sin. When you're born into this world, that's just a thing that happens in the world. Racism, it's a part of the world. Sexism, part of the world. Hatred, part of the world. That's just the world we live in. Like when Eve took a bite of the apple, Adam and Eve took a bite of the apple, that's when sin was introduced in the world, because God had a perfect world for us and human nature took that glorious life away from us. So now we live in a world full of sin. And Jesus died on the cross for us so that we don't have to live in that sin anymore. We can live with Jesus. So if you just have to think about what's most important, having a relationship with Jesus, because he doesn't hate your like who you are. He doesn't hate that. He hates your sin. Jesus loves you and he like wants that relationship with you, but it's your sin he hates. And someone told me one time that we have to kill our sin before it kills us. Because if we live in a world of sin and we live for the world, if you go into that classroom and everyone in there is smoking, right? You know, and you go in there and smoke and you cuss and you do all these bad things, right? You're living for the world. You're pleasing people, right? I know you're a people pleaser. I'm the biggest people pleaser in the world. I want to make everyone happy. I can't make a decision to save my life because I want to do what everyone else wants to do. But the thing is, if an apple is in front of you, right? Do you have to bite it?
No.
No, you have your free will to choose what you want to do. Imagine there's an apple tree. Say this tree right here is an apple tree. And every single day, a line of people walks by and they start eating the apple and they're like, man, this apple tastes amazing, right? But then this apple tree starts taking in bad things like smoking and all these like harmful sin in the world. And then it starts not producing good fruit. A lot of people don't want to be near that tree because of how it's living its lifestyle. And that's how I was when I smoked and lived that life of sin, is that I started to produce bad fruit. And that's what it says in the Bible, is we have to produce fruit worth eating. We want to be a good person, you know? And when I lived that life of sin, people started to not want to be near me. And I was depressed and I had anxiety and it sucked. But when I gave my life to Jesus and I realized that I'm a sinner, I do wrong. That's just who I am. No matter how hard I try, I'm always going to do something wrong. So I need someone who can help me and someone who paid that eternal price that I can live for. And that's what Jesus does for us. Jesus loves you and he wants to have a relationship with you. And this is not just me talking about some like Christian stuff. This is like me like really telling you. And it's really like, he really does. Like Jesus isn't just some distant figure, you know, like he really like, imagine, he was beaten so bad on the cross. He was in the Garden of Gethsemane and it was this garden, right? And he knew that the people were coming to kill him. And since God is in him, he could have prayed that angels, thousands of angels came down from heaven and killed everyone on earth and just saved himself, right? But no, he knew that people were going to reject him and not love him. Like he knew exactly who you were. He was thinking of you, Kalon. And he chose to get all the skin ripped off of his back, his organs showing, getting stabbed with spears, getting nailed to a cross, so that you don't have to live a sinful life. You can live completely for him. That's what Jesus did for you. And that's the sacrifice he made. So if you feel like you're distant from God and you feel like that the people around you are kind of affecting that, like your mom, I know you can't really go run away from your mom, but say like the people you're around are smoking and doing all these things, think about what you're taking in. Is smoking good to you? Like, is smoking a good thing to do you think?
No.
Do you think cussing's a good thing to do? Like, do you think cussing helps people?
And over like an unneeded amount.
Like if I cussed at you right now, would you say, like if you heard a 4-year-old cuss, would you say, oh, that's a good thing?
No, I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, cussing doesn't like glorify God. Actually, my Bible verse today on my app was talking about that all the things we should say should like glorify God. We should not talk bad on people. So if you know the things you're doing wrong and the people you're surrounding yourself with, you just got to think about, are they helping you glorify God? Are they helping you get closer to God, or are they taking you farther away from him? So you just got to decide. I'm not trying to push nothing on you. It's like completely all you. But that's what God did for me. That's what God did for you. I think that's really powerful. And I can cut whatever we want out of this. But I got a couple more questions. Do you have anything to say about that first? Is there anything in there that you didn't know that stood out to you? And don't worry about being perfect. I can literally cut anything out.
it definitely was, Jesus, dying for us. I knew that.
What does that
obviously.
mean for you?
Like,
What does it mean that like Jesus died for you? What what does that mean to you? Because to a lot of people, they're like, oh yeah, Jesus died for me, whatever. What does it mean to
Well,
you?
to me, it means that he cared for us, and he expected good from us.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it shows that he loves us too, right? Like
Yeah.
if we were standing in the middle of the road, right? Say you never knew me, right? And I pushed you out of a car and died for you, would you say I loved you?
Yeah.
That's what Jesus did. He wanted to show us that he loves us. So if you're ever feeling like I see all the time when you're walking through the hallways, people just like picking on you and just treating you bad all the time, literally all the time. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I've tried to like tell people to stop, because that's not what love is. You gotta love is about seeing Jesus in people, because Jesus is in all of us. He is, and that's really powerful. That's what love is. So what do you think love is? Like, what does love mean to you?
Well, affection, not wanting to be there for somebody, not wanting them to do bad.
Yeah, caring about people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good example. So is there anything else that I said that do you have any questions, anything you want to talk
I
about?
think that's it.
That's about it. All right, I got a couple more questions I think on here. Why did you agree to come on here? Why did you agree to do this episode? What?
Well, because I felt like I definitely needed it. I definitely needed to get closer with God, get closer with you.
So how do you think you can get closer to God? This isn't like me forcing nothing on you. We're just talking. Just how do you think you could get closer to God? Like, do you feel any desire after this to get closer to God?
Yeah.
So what do you think could help you get closer to God?
Start to care for more people, put myself in a better environment.
Think about it like this. Your cousin, how you're close to them. Imagine he just like the same thing I said. He wants to have that relationship with you. Jesus doesn't have to be someone like distant. Like when I tell you that I've like really had like experiences with Jesus, he's like a real like person, and he wants to have that like relationship with you. He really does. And I'm not trying to force it on you, but I'm telling you, my life, I live the same, even a worse life than you're living right now, and I still live a bad life because that's what we are. We're all sinners. We all sin. But like since I started following Jesus, I've loved on people more. My whole life has just gotten better. I've realized how much I really need him. And I feel like that this is something he called us to do. He called us to talk to people about these things. And I know that I've talked about your faithfulness with your girlfriend, and you talk about smoking and cussing and all that. And I'm sure that that's not stuff that you want to do.
No.
So us talking right now is just me kind of sharing with you how he's affected me and how I think he could affect you. So is there anything you think you can do to get closer to Jesus? Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about in this episode? I'm going to cut out a lot of stuff. It's going to look a lot better than it sounds right now. So literally, if you want to talk about anything.
Well, I know I could definitely, try more.
But do you want to, or do you feel like it's something you have to do?
I think it's something I want to do.
That's good. That's good to want. That's good to want. So what do you think you could do you said you could care for people more and you could do all those things, but how do you think you could like really get closer to Jesus if you tried?
I could definitely reach out more.
You could reach out more. Do you feel like you don't reach out a lot right now?
Not as
What
much
is
as
it that you feel like, because you talked about the people that are kind of keeping you away from him, is that just it? The people like the things you surround yourself with? Is that what it is? Because that makes sense. That's a valid reason.
I say definitely.
So what do you think is more important, like in your real eyes? Like, do you think that, because I know I'm a big people pleaser too, and I wanted to make everyone else around me happy, but do you think that really the people you surround yourself with, the people who are smoking and cussing and doing all these things, do you think that that's what is best for you in your relationship with God? Like, what keeps you around those people?
What keeps me around these people? Well, because
is it because they validate you?
Because they were friends before, like they were friends back when I did all the bad stuff.
But now,
start wrapping it up.
I know. And then but you know how those people kind of affect your faith. So, it's good to love on those people. I'm not saying you have to completely like abandon them. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying sometimes you got to, weigh things out and realize what would be best for you. and what's best for your relationship. Because, my way of putting things is Jesus is first. Then my friends, all my other stuff is below that. Because without Jesus, I would not be here right now. I really wouldn't. And that's just where you kind of got to level things. So at the end of this, I'm just going to say that I think you just got to start weighing out what you think's best for you and stuff like that. All right? Come on, I got you. Come on, get up, buddy. I love you. All right? Thank you for coming on here.